Okay, so it is a hips orientated class, and when you work through the hip, it's all your gluteal muscles. So that includes glute max, which is the main bum muscle. So a bit of that and everything else besides. So we're going to start with wide feet. And we want them parallel. So turn your feet, the fronts of your feet towards each other. You could go more than parallel, if you know what I mean. So you're going towards making them parallel and then go further. So you feel like they're turning in. They're very likely then to actually end up parallel because we're much more comfortable with our feet turned out. We like external rotation a lot more than we like internal rotation. So it will feel weird because you're going to want to go to that weird feeling. You can go as wide as you like. You need to be able to have straight legs and you need to be able to have a neutral spine. We'll set our spine though. So with your feet turned in, make sure your legs are straight. And then just try, we're going to have a reach. We're going to reach right up to the ceiling. Make your hands into fists and reach them right up. And you'll go backwards slightly. So that extension always comes into a rib lift. So you're reaching right up and you'll do a little back bend. Your hips will come slightly forward. Take a big breath in and then dive your fist down towards the floor and drop into a forward fold, legs staying straight. Big breath here. Let's roll up, breathing out. Reach up. You'll do a little bend backwards. Breathe in here. Breathe out. Dive down. We'll do that 2 more times. So you breathe in to get ready. Breathe out. It's a roll up, reach up. Breathe in here. You can get down any way you like, diving down or rolling down. 1 more. And then roll up. And then just back your hips up so you can feel that your weight is on your heels, fronts of your feet firmly down. Hands are going to go on your hips, but on the side of your hips. So we're just kind of just putting your hands towards each other, but on your sides of your pelvis. And we're going to go into a side lunge, but we're going to lead from the hip. So rather than think about your knee bending, take a hip over to one side and bend that knee so it goes over the foot. Try not to grip your toes. You're going to work your inner thighs, both of them, both sets of inner thighs work here. And then come up. Let's do the same way. So you're going to sit, leading from the hip over one foot, the other leg stays straight. Take your opposite arm and reach it across. Take a big breath here. Come out, hand back on your hip. Let's go the other way. Hip goes first. So hip pushes into the side, that will bend that knee. Come on up, that side again with the twist. So we're going to lead from the hip. It's really tempting to lead from the knee. So I'm having to really think myself. Other arm comes out, twist round. Okay, then come back. Now we're going to take a step forward with one foot. Still having your feet feeling like they're turning in. So just taking a step forward, maybe, that amount. And again, we're going to push into the hip. The hip is pushing straight out to the side. So you're not trying to take your hip forward. You're trying to keep your pelvis square in front of you. Make sure that foot stays flat. Come back up. And again, sit into that hip, sit into that foot. Other arm comes out and twist. This resets all the inner and outer thigh muscles. We're going to go the other way now. So remember, your hips trying to go out to the side, not necessarily back over the foot. Don't let the other knee bend. Come on up. 1 more time this way. Leading, hip pushing into your hand first. Other arm comes out, twist. Take a breath. Twist back. So the same foot that you moved before is now going to go behind. So you've got the other foot forward. So you can do it any other way. Check your feet are still parallel. We're going to go into the front foot first. So your hip pushing out to the side. Take a breath and come back up. These won't necessarily feel difficult, but there are millions of cheats. Twisting your pelvis being the main one, and also leading from the knee. Other arm, straight leg arm, twists round. Okay, let's come back. Now we're going to go to the back foot. So you're pushing hip back. And then come up. Last one, we're going to push hip first. Straight arm comes out, straight arm of the straight leg, and reach round. Good, so you might have felt that as a stretch, but sometimes it's not if it's in the straight leg. Anyway, we're back up. You can turn your feet out slightly now. Take both arms up to the ceiling, reach them right up, and we're going to turn, keeping your legs straight. So you turn one way, like you're trying to get your chest to look over one foot. Then take both arms down, I've got space, both arms down to your sides, and let your shoulders come down with your arms coming down. So your head feels like it's popping up. Reach both arms up, twizzle around the other way. Arms come down, head pops up, shoulders go down. Now we're going to turn around the first way, round as far as you can. Now your arms are going to come out down with your palms up. Palms come up, thumbs pushing behind you. Big breath in here, reach up, twist right round. And then your arms come down, palms up, shoulders down, head pops up. Okay, let's reach both arms up, turn round and put both hands on your hips. We're going to pelvic tilt. Oh no, we're not. We're going to bend our knees. We're going to bend our knees a bit, then we're going to pelvic tilt. A lot easier now. So a little just softness in the knee, and then we're tucking and untucking. Think about your foot pressures here. Make sure you're on your heels. Make sure you're on your balls of your feet. Your toes are not gripping. You're not overusing the front of the foot nor the back. Now let's try side to side. So we're just going to do little shifts. You're kind of thinking of that same pelvic tilt, but the other way. So one hip lifting, the other one dropping. They're not coming forward and back. They're just going up and down. We're going to incorporate those two movements now and do like a hula dance, but you want to get into all of those positions that we were in before. So a good tuck and untuck of your pelvis, and also a good hike and drop on each side. Really concentrate on getting to all the realms of the pelvis. Let's go round the other way. And again, your pelvis isn't twisting. So you're keeping your hip bones are always on that same plane. Your pubic bone goes forward and back, and the sides go up and down. Okay, let's stay. And then we're going to bend both knees down and lift up. And bend both knees down and lift. Think of your hips going back behind you. So you're leading now from your sit bones. So sit bones go behind you and then come up. Sit them right back, and then just think about your ribs staying down so that your pelvis is moving, happens to bring your spine down, but you're not bending through your spine as you go down into the squat. Don't worry about how low you go. Better to make it clean so everything's equal. Okay, we're going to sit into the squat now. Bottom going back, then down. Hold it there. And then we're going to lift both heels off and put them down. Lift and lower. You might need to come up with your body a bit so that you can do the lifts. Just go to wherever you can manage this without, again, it being a spine movement. When your heels are next down, we're going to alternate. So one heel lifts, down, the other heel lifts, and down. This is in the way, looks a bit confusing. Lift, down, down. Let's go faster. If it hurts to slam your heel down, then take it down really gently. If it doesn't hurt, should be able to take it. Like we heel strike, it's a big old bone, the heel bone, and should have lots of fat pad on it, but if it doesn't, it will hurt. So just take it down so it doesn't hurt. Okay, back to double heels. And you start to feel this in the hips, inner thighs. Back to alternating. Okay, back to double. Okay, and then let's bring both heels down and straighten both legs out. Take your arms up in the air, wide hands, and take opposite hand down to the other foot. So hand down to opposite foot. Reach right down, the other arm's going to reach up to the ceiling. Keep both legs straight. You're really reaching down, but you really want to try and get a twist here. Take a big breath. And then let's swap. Other hand to the other foot, other arm reaching up. Big breath, and let's swap again. And swap. Okay, one more each side. Use your hand or down on your leg to pull at your leg to get even more of a twist. Other side. And then drop both arms down, bend both knees, and lift your hands off the floor. If it's too much to lift your hands off the floor, you just keep your fingertips on the floor and you can walk them forward to make it easier on your hips. Hands are going to go on your hips if they're not on the floor. And we're going to bring one knee down to the floor, then lift it. Then the other knee comes down towards the floor and lifts. So you might be doing this quite high up. You also might be doing this with your hands on the floor. So knee goes back before the other one lifts up. Okay, next time both knees are up, hold them up, and we're going to take this from side to side. So you're going over to one, like your haunch, you're sitting on one heel, and then go over to the other. So again, you can do this higher up, and you can do this with your hands on the floor. So you just want to stay really low. And now if you can incorporate a drop of your knee as you go over to one heel, the knee goes down to the floor, then lifts, over to the other side, knee down, then lifts, give it a go. So hand on the floor variation for this. Your hands further forward if it's easier that way. And you can also be high up. Okay, we're going to do one more on each side. And then hands down on the floor if they aren't already, and walk your hands forward. Take a breath. While you're breathing out, walk your hands back. You might get to the point that you can lift your hands off. Breathe in here, breathe out, walk forward. Breathe in here, breathe out, walk back. So a variation of this would be to have both knees on the floor and you're walking forward and walking back. And you can also just do a small walk. Just make sure you're not holding your breath. You need your core for this, so let's support your spine. One more walk in and out. And then we're going to stay, walk out and bring your knees down. Your knees should be nice and wide. Just going to back up so I'm in the screen. Toes tucked under. Push your bottom back between your heels. Okay, let's come forward. See if you can get a lift of your tailbone up towards the ceiling, a lift of your sit bones. Take a breath and push your bottom back towards your heels. Okay, we're going to come away from hips just for a break. Not very far away from hips. We're going to come forward, still with knees wide, so still have a hip opening, and move so that you might be able to see in the screen that your hands are about underneath your shoulders. We're looking for your pelvis to be forward of your knees or above your knees, but not back of your knees. So you've got at least a right angle at your knee. Shoulders go down away from your ears, palms spread out on the floor, and you lift your ribs away from the floor. So we're never dropping your rib cage down. You pick your rib cage up. Then once you've done that, your back will be pretty much in neutral. Unless you're in a very, very pronounced tuck, then you'll need to do a lift of your tailbone up. We're looking for a little dip in your low back. But your rib cage is supported by your shoulders. Okay, making sure your shoulders are down away from your ears, otherwise you'll train up that lift of your shoulders towards your ears. You take a breath here, and when you're full of that breath, you lower down towards the floor in a press up. And then you breathe out to come up. Breathe in, lower, breathe out. Explosive breath to come up. Keep going. As an extension to this, you can lift your knees off and be in full plank. You can also bring your knees closer together, but try and keep them wide. We want a good hip opening here. And you can also set your hips back. To extend this, you bring your nose down forward of both hands. So you're trying to not lift your chin is still tucked in, but you're trying to get your head forward and then push up so that your shoulders go down over your hands. So your head is forward of both hands. Okay, last one. And then open your knees. So you're going to turn your feet out so that the inside of your knees comes down. It's not a widening of your knees. It's a twisting out of your legs. Hope that makes sense. So now you've got the inside of your knee on the floor and the inside of the foot. We're going to do a frog stretch, loved by so many, probably no one. Okay, elbows down on the floor if you like. You can be on your hands if you want to. Start with your elbows forward. So your legs are quite far behind you. So you can have like a splayed out frog. And if it's really uncomfortable underneath your knees, then just endure this for a short amount of time. We're going to try and lift our sit bone up towards the ceiling. We can try and have our ribs supported. So we're pushing into our elbows to lift our ribs. And then breathing, you're going to push your bottom back between both of your heels and come forward. So it's a gentle rocking backwards and forwards. There's plank in this, so you need to have your breathing happening. So that's number one. If you can manage more, come onto your hands and really push back and come forward. We're making this a dynamic frog. He's a mover, this frog. Breathing in, breathing out. you might find you head more easily to one heel than the other. So that inner thigh and that hip is more mobile than the other. Just go with the one that's less mobile. So try and keep your body like same distance between each leg. So you're working into your less mobile one and kind of ignoring your more mobile one. You might feel like you're heading central, that's fine. Okay, we'll just do 2 more. If it's too much, you just bring your legs together. We're going to lie on our front for the next one so you can get into that position already. We're going to hold this frog if you're still here. So you're pushing your hips back between your heels. Have a little wiggle from side to side. And you want to feel that you are either stuck in the middle or you're definitely over towards your less good side, your less mobile side. So if you wiggle a lot both ways, or you wiggle one way more than the other, stay in the way you don't go. There's a lot of inner thigh movement, a lot of thigh rotation in walking. And if that doesn't happen, then you get a lot of problems in the low back, you get problems in the feet, knees. Okay, let's walk our hands forward, come onto our elbows, bring your knees in, so they are able to even move. And we're going to lie on our front with your hands overlapped and underneath your shoulders. Bring your knees right in, not together, but hip width apart. Tuck your chin in. Your inner thighs might be singing a bit. Stretch both legs out. So just give them a shuffle to get your feet as far away from you as you can. So we're going to this is not a hip opener at all, you'll be pleased to know. We're going to get into the glutes now, the glute max, which doesn't have a rotation part of it, so don't worry about that. Bring your heels up to the ceiling. So you'll need to turn your heels in most probably. And then let's just think of your left leg. Imagine someone's got hold of your big toe and they're pulling the leg. You should feel a movement of your leg out of your pelvis. So there's a kind of decompression in the hip. Keep imagining someone's pulling that big toe and your foot will float off the floor if they're really pulling it hard. Your toe should be really pointed because obviously they've got hold of the toe. So your foot is pointed. And your knee now will be at a hover off the floor that you're going to keep. So now we're going to slowly bend your knee, keeping your knee at that same height. As you bend your knee, you should feel this in your bottom, you should feel it in your hamstring, you shouldn't feel it in your back. So as with all these front-lying things, if you feel it in your back and you cannot get it away from your back by lowering your knee or anything, then you put your towel underneath your bottom rib, underneath you. If you can do less of a bend or a lower position of the knee, then go for that. And when you're in maximum bend, which is your hamstring now screaming, it can bend more, but this is it bending while it's contracting. Then you push your heel up towards the ceiling and pull the top of your foot down towards the floor. So you're lengthening the back of the calf. And then just see if you can just lift your foot a couple more millimeters. So you're stamping on the ceiling. Don't worry, you won't get much of a lift at all. The lift might be entirely in your head, but it will transfer into more of a gluteal contraction than hamstring. If you get cramp in these because your hamstrings are just overtaking, then just have a break when you feel that. Okay, rest that leg down. Now stretch your right leg out. Imagine someone's got hold of that big toe. It's worth spending a bit of time on this first one. After that, you kind of have a bit of a memory going on. If pointing your toe gives you cramp, then you're not pointing your toe. Just take your toes out of it. Kind of imagine someone's pulling the ball of your foot. Reach, 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 reach. Note the hover that your knee is at and start to bend your knee, taking your foot up towards the ceiling. Take this first one slowly. just because it might just suddenly cramp. Now we're going to slowly flex the ankle, heel pushes up, top of your foot curls down, check your back here. And then we're doing a little stamp on the ceiling. Should all be in your bottom hamstring and calf here, just in the back of your leg. Okay, leg comes down. Okay, back to the left, quicker this time. Stretch that leg out, hovering knee, bend. It's easier now because you've got a bit of got into it. Flex, heel up, toe down, push. Check your back. Leg goes down. Right leg, stretch. Knee hovers, bend. Hold it, flex the ankle. Stamp your foot on the ceiling. Right leg comes down. If it's bothering your back, just go into child's pose or try and just modify it so it comes out, it stops. Left leg stretches, bend, flex the ankle, push. Straighten that leg out. Okay, let's just do this side. That'll do it. It's only 3 each side, but you'll probably already feel that you don't quite get all that connection that you did that first time. Second time was good. Third time, yeah, going downhill now. Put that leg down, hands underneath your shoulders. Sit back into a child's pose just to round your spine. So your forehead trying to get to the floor, because even if you thought it wasn't getting into your back, if you didn't have a towel underneath your ribs, it does get into your back because we haven't got space, most of us, for our rib cage to go through the floor. So let's have a little bit of a round. And then we're going to have a go with our shoulders. So we're going to come up to kneeling. You can put something underneath your knees if this is too knobbly. Another thing for kneeling is if you find it just is horrible on the back of your knees, then you can put your towel into the crook of your knees and you sit on that, or even like a block or something like that, so that you don't squash the back of the knee if there's any sort of swelling there or constriction or whatever. Okay, but we're kneeling up tall. You can also stand. That's also one way not to kneel. So nice and tall. Your back in neutral, so tailbone sticking out slightly. Ribs down, so your ribs are point back behind you. And then take your arms into a goalpost position. Flip round again. So arms are in a goalpost position, palms out. Lift your shoulders so that you can consciously drop your shoulders. Squeeze your elbows back behind you and take your hands with your elbows. So it's not a fold forward, both arms press back. Take a breath here. You'll feel just an opening in your chest, a bit of armpity, and then bring your elbows together in front of your chin. They should be still at shoulder height. They might meet, the sides of your hands might meet. And then open out wide again. Push your elbows back. Check your shoulders are down, chin tucked in, and then we're going to lift your sternum up towards the ceiling. Just imagine a little string there attached to your sternum, and it's lifting you up. And you'll do a little back bend, but it's in your upper back, some thoracic spine. You do a little lift. And then bring your ribs down again. Elbows come together in front of your face, sides of your hands together. And now we're shoulders down. We're going to do a little drop of your elbows down without your hands coming towards your face. Breath here, lift your elbows, take them behind you, press, lift your sternum. Breath here, drop your sternum down, elbows in, squeeze them together if they meet, and then little curl forward. We're just thinking of a movement of your spine, rib cage section. Lift, open, Squeeze your hands back, sternum lifts. Breath, breathe out. Elbows together, ribs down. Drop your ribs even more. Okay, we'll just do one more each way. These are fabulous if you have upper back issues, and especially if you have that like hump in the top of your back, an upper back neck, upper back neck pain, or where are we? Whichever we're on. Elbows together, most probably, dropping down. Okay, and then let's drop our arms, and we're going to come up into a higher kneeling position and take one leg in front of you. So I've got my right leg. The foot behind you should be flat, so toenails on the floor. And we're looking for a right angle everywhere. Right angle, right angle, right angle. Hands go on your hips. Let's move our pelvis so it's in neutral. So you're probably going to need to bring your pubic bone forward and your hip bones back and drop your ribs down. So we're trying to get as much kind of a standing neutral as possible. And then put your hands on the hip of your back leg. That's the hip we're going to work here. So your hand's just going to go on the hip there. And we're going to pick the front of your front foot up. Shouldn't have turned around. So we're going to pick it up so the heel's on the floor. Try and do all of that without anything else moving. You'll probably feel that hip switch on underneath your hand. You may be able to get a lift now of that heel, but it's a big jump from the front of your foot off to the heel lifting. Heel comes down, flatten that foot. So you can try this with your toe tucked under. It's actually easier with your toe tucked under. You've got more foot stability. So if you found it really wobbly, try using the foot. If you're up for a challenge, don't bring the foot into it. Back into neutral. Pubic bone comes forward, hip bones back, rib cage down. Then you lock in, and then you lift up the front of that front foot. And then you think about what you would need to do to lift that leg, and maybe it will lift. It's a lot to actually get a lift. No movement at all in your upper body. You should feel that whole outer hip of that back leg just going, what? Trying to work itself without all the compensations it gets from your foot. Okay, that's enough of that one. Leg out to the side, so your front leg out to the side. You can always put something underneath this knee if it's getting too much. Arms in the air, this leg is straight. We're going to tip away from your straight leg. Shoulders staying wide, perpendicular to the floor. Try and find the floor with your hand. You can use something underneath your hand so that the floor is nearer if you want. Try and keep your pelvis and shoulders in the same line as that bottom knee. Head in line with the rest of your shoulders. We're going to hover this long leg and then lift it up a bit more and then lift it up again. Lower it down. Lower gently. Lift again. Lift a bit more. Lift it a third time. And lower. Foot tucked, toes tucked under of the back foot makes it a bit easier. Sitting your hips back makes it a bit easier. Only go easy if you have to. You can also just not really lift that foot very much. That's the best option, is to keep the cues. Okay, we're doing two more. It's 3 lifts. Lift, 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 and lower. And again, lift, lift, lift. Hold it there. Push the heel away of that foot, even if the foot's really near the floor. We're going to bend the knee in and push the foot out. Imagine you're kicking something with that foot. So the knee comes in and then you push that foot away. Knee in, push. And again, push. Now let's keep the knee in, turn the knee up and foot down. Turn the knee down, foot up. Turn, turn. One more, don't worry, we've nearly finished here. Turn. Okay, now let's turn the knee up, foot down. Kick, something very heavy away. Knee comes in, foot is down. Kick. One more. Kick. Bend that heel in, knee bends, turn the knee down, foot up. This is the last bit. Kick. Bring it in. Try and have your foot higher than your knee here. Kick. I can see mine's not as high as I'd like to think it is. And last one, kick. And then bring that knee in. Sit your hips back. Let's just sit on our heels for a bit. The stabilizing hip, the same one that we tested with the foot forward, is where the major bit of this comes from. The other one just doesn't know how to work it out, but this one's doing all the work. So interlace your fingers, turn your palms inside out, lift your arms up, and then just do a side bend each way, just to get that out. Okay, other side. So other knee, it's going to get the battering on the floor. So step the other foot forward, toenails down with that foot behind you. Try and get 90, 90, 90. Pelvis over your back knee. Bring your pelvis into neutral. Most people will need to bring their pubic bone forward. We're looking for pubic bone and hip bones being on that plane perpendicular to the floor. Ribs are down. Hand on the outside of your back leg hip. So feel what needs to hold. And then lift the front of your front foot off. So the forefoot lifts, heel just on the floor. Then think about lifting that heel. So this is when you might see a big hip difference. So this is my hip thinking, no chance for this one. No, no chance. Okay, let's put that foot down. We're going to do that again. So reset. Hand on your hip, holding on to what you need to maintain. Front of the foot lifts. Try and lift the heel. And shifting means no, it stops. So it's an as if lift. It's as if you're lifting it. If you're not lifting it, you're thinking about lifting it and all the things that needs to happen. Okay, front of that foot goes down. Let's take that leg out to the side, straight, arms up in the air, hips forward with side bend. We keep going, find the floor, bring the floor higher up if you need to. Open out your shoulders, pelvis is forward, rib cage is down. Shoulders are down away from your ears. Let's lift that long leg. Lift it again. Lift it again. And lower. Lift, lift, lift. And lower. Lift, lift, lift. And lower. 3 more. Only do them if you're happy. Lift and lower. 2 more. Lift, lift again, lift. Last one. We're going to hold this one up. Lift, 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 hold it. Push the heel away. Bend your knee in. Push. Heavy box, pushing it under the bed in this ridiculous position. Knee in, push out. And again, knee in, push out. Let's do one more, trying to bring your knee forward here. Push out. Now let's bend your knee, foot really flexed. We're turning your knee up, foot down, knee down, foot up. Keep your hip forward of your bottom hip. We want to keep that hip working. Let's stay, knee up, foot down. Breathe, push. Bend and push. And again. And push. Last position, bend in, knee down, foot up. Breath and kick. Doesn't really do this leg, doesn't really internally rotate. And again. And push. Good. Bring that knee in here and let's sit onto our heels. Interlace your fingers again. Turn your palms inside out, pushing your palms away. Lift up and side bends. Okay, oof. Hard work in the shoulders that as well. Okay, we're going to go on to our side now. We're not going to be using our hands or our knees in that same way again, luckily. Okay, we're going to come onto our elbow side lying. So you cannot use your elbow, but we are going to do the knee lift. So you can, if you can't manage to be on this shoulder, then you can just stay doing the clam. So we're clamshelling. It's not the most, it's very highly prescribed, very popular, but doesn't really do very much. We're just getting into what we're going to do next. Hand on your top hip, lift your bottom rib up, shoulders down away from your ears. I don't know why it's so, people love it, but it's nothing. So we'll just get into the knee lifts and lowers. That's what we're doing it for. Okay, and then next time your knees are together, let's make this actually mean something. We're going to lift both knees up. So now you've rolled off bone, side pelvis, and you've rolled onto soft bum cheek. Shoulders need to be down. Lift your chest. Okay, we're going to open and close your knees here. They're both opening. So this is more about the work here in your waist and core than anything else. Breathing. We can soup this up by hovering your feet. Try and open both knees. Keep checking your shoulders. Keep checking that your ribs are lifted. Just don't progress if it all gets too much. Just go down a notch until you feel that it's not agony for you. Okay, we're going to open both knees out. Splay your feet so heels are together. So I've got kind of fishtail legs here, mermaid legs. And then push your heels away. And then bend your knees. And then push away. So we're doing little frog's legs. And then pushing, keeping your ankles really flexed here. Try a lift of your legs as they go out. Keep breathing. We'll do 3 more. Make sure you're not holding your breath. Last one. And then knees in, feet down, and we'll go over onto our back. Towel underneath our head, or cushion, or head block, or half roller if you've got stuff. Okay, drop your ribs down, find the floor with your low back, and then make that space underneath it. Some people will have too much of a gap, so they'll be working on keeping that gap just enough to put your hands underneath. Your fingers will just slip in. Some people will have their back wedged on the floor, so you're working on keeping a lift, rib cage down, tailbone down, and a gap in your low back. There needs to be that curve. You can't make core strength without it. So that's always number 1, spine position. Okay, we're going to take our arms out wide on the floor. So just pretend this one's out wide. It's met the wall, so it's not. So they're both doing what this arm is doing. And let your shoulders sink down into the floor. And then let's lift, we'll do our left leg first. We're going to lift our left leg up to the ceiling and we're going to push the heel away. So it doesn't need to be straight. It's as straight as you can get it to go. You still want that gap underneath your low back. So soften whatever until you get that. And then we're going to circle this leg. The other leg will get in the way. So only circle as much as you can without disturbing the other leg. Try and keep your heel pushing up towards the ceiling. So what matters most here is kind of how much that leg is working, keep staying rigid, than how large the circles are. Because you can feel that as you push the hip away, the heel away, the whole leg switches on and the hip starts to really work. Let's go around the other way. So don't let that foot soften. Try and keep your shoulders down. There's a lot of core stuff in this. Try and keep your jaw soft. Okay, one more circle. And then we're going to bend this knee, turn the knee out and the foot in, and put your left ankle on your left, the end of your left thigh. Then push your left knee away, not with your hand. I shouldn't have touched it like that because that's misleading. So you're pushing it away with the muscles in it. And then we're going to push into your right foot and hover your pelvis off. Take a breath here, breathe out, lower down. Think of your coming down as a roll through your spine. Your lift up can be flat or a roll. Flat's better, actually. We'll go with flat here. Breathing out, lift. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out, roll down. We're just going to do one more of these. Now we're going to stay up. So your pelvis stays in that hover. Bring your right hip in, bring your right knee in, push your right foot through the floor. We're going to drop your hips and lift. Drop, lift, drop, lift. Think of your right hip really pushing up and trying to get your left hip to stay with it. Pushing and lifting, foot flat on the floor. Okay, let's hold up. Ribs relatively down, so just relax your ribs. Holding it here, we're going to try and lift your left foot just off your right knee. So it's just hovering off. Don't worry if you can't do this. We're just going to try and do that lift, but otherwise you're not doing it. And if you can, we're going to straighten your left leg out. Your right leg hasn't moved here. Pushing the heel away of your left foot. Let's bend so that ankle comes down onto your right knee. Let's straighten. Right foot going through the floor. Again, bend. Last one, straighten. And again, bend, ankle to the knee. And roll your back down, pelvis down onto the floor. Good, and once your pelvis hits the floor, we're going to widen your left knee again, and then we're going to take your left foot to the floor over on your right without your ankle slipping position on your knee. So that stays fixed, and then you flip. I haven't got space. Then you flip your side of your right leg down to the floor, left foot trying to get down to the floor. And when you're in that twist, we're going to actively push that left knee away, not with your hands. Try and have your left heel pushing away still and your toes curled away from the floor. Okay, let's bring all of that back up and then put your left foot down. I'll just move back again. And shuffle, shuffle so your spine is straight. And then lift your right leg up in the air, pushing your heel away, straight as you can get. Spine in neutral, so gap underneath your low back. And then we're going to circle your right leg as large as you can. And while you're doing that, you're thinking, are my shoulders relaxed? Is my jaw relaxed? The tongue just soft on the roof of my mouth? Ribs relaxed down? Anything that isn't is working for your core. So it's worth relaxing them and going to a range of the leg movement that you can keep all of them relaxed, because then it's core work. If it isn't and you're all stiffening, then it's just less core work. So you think it's harder work, but actually it's more compensation. Okay, let's go around the other way. Keep that heel pushing away with your right foot. You're doing as large a circle as you can, really stiff leg. And when the left leg gets in the way, you just avoid it. Back shape staying the same, so that little gap all the time. In real life, your back moves, your pelvis moves, and your ribs lift and lower. But we want to kind of, it always centers around center. It always centers around neutral. So we're just fixing it for this, but it's actually a bit more fluid than that in reality. Okay, let's finish this circle. And then bend your knee, turn your right knee out, right ankle on your left knee. Left foot should be underneath your knee. Push your left, no, it's your right. Push your right knee away from you, as far as it goes, but without anything changing. It's only in your leg. Breath in, breathe out, lift your hips. Left foot going through the floor. Breathing in, and then you breathe out, roll down. 2 more of those. Think of your left foot going through the floor. Try and keep your hip bones at the same height. So it's your left hip dragging your right hip up. Keep that left hip in line with the knee. Okay, we're going to hold this next one up. Lift, pulse. Oh, we're not going to have time to do the other side things. Might go on a bit too long because I've got carried away. Up and down. It's very unlike me. Getting a bit too into it. Okay. Pulsing up, push and drop. Okay, good. Hold up. No, that's too few. Let's do a few more. I'd rather just go on a bit longer. Hope you won't mind. It might be a couple of minutes. Okay, now let's hold up. That feels better. Hover your right foot just off your left leg, keeping that whole leg shape. Straighten your right leg out. Bend. Ankle coming back to the knee. Whoops, need to push the heel away. Straighten. Keep that heel pushing right out. I just forgot. Bend in. Next one, last one. Okay, and then bend in. And then roll your spine down. Heel pushing away. Let's flip. Right foot to the floor. Side of your left leg to the floor. Actively push your right hip away. You'll feel it as in the hip, your right hip. Oh, we'll be all right. We'll be all right. We'll get them in. Okay, let's tip all of that back up, put that foot down, and now let's go ahead and do the other side, clammy things. So, heels in line with your hips, elbow on the floor, shoulders down away from your ears, ribs lifted, ribs tucked, hand on your top hip. Let's lift and lower your top knee. Oh, we're not too bad for time. So, good old clamshell. Not achieving very much. Getting us into the groove of what's happening next. One more. And then roll off pelvis and onto bottom. Ribs lifted, ribs down, sternum lifted. Lift and open and close. Getting into that, we're going to lift our feet. Actually easier, I find. There's more space for that bottom leg. Trying to open and close both knees. Trying to stay at that same balance. Ribs lifted, shoulders down. Okay, let's stay knees wide and splay your feet, pulling your toes towards you. Let's straighten out our fishtail, bend into it. Push away, bend. Try and keep your legs high. So keep going. Okay, let's do two more. And then bend both knees. And then let's roll over into all fours. Hands down on the floor, knees widen to hip width, toes tucked under. Let's pelvic tilt. So I said on Tuesday that we do Spider-Man plank, and foolishly I put it at the end, so it hasn't happened. So we do it on Tuesday next week. Oh, it's going to be good when it happens. Okay, let's stay with our tailbone lifted. Ribs up, ribs tucked up into your body, shoulders down. Work your toes into the floor. Hover both knees off. Your knees making a shadow on the floor. Breathe here. Keep your back shape, keep your shoulder position, keep your knees at a hover. That's number one. But if you can do more, we're going to lift one leg. So keeping the other knee at a hover, you're picking one foot off the floor. If anything changes, you put that foot down. Breathe. And again. Next exhale, that foot comes down, knee back to a hover. Check your positioning, shoulders, ribs, chin tucked. Other leg lifts. Try and keep that knee on the floor, just at a hover. Okay, next exhale. Back to knees at a hover. One more breath here. And then bring your knees down. Whew, let's come on up. One foot in front of you. Let's change to the other leg. Try and get out of habits. And push up to stand up. Good. Well, recovered time, but only by missing out the Spider-Man plank. But anyway, do it on Tuesday. Feet hip width, hips back, ribs down. Let's take one arm to your side and then bend your elbow so you're bringing your hand up your back. Mine's not a very impressive distance, so there's nothing to prove here. Ribs down, shoulder down. Let's just take a couple of breaths here. Your breath should push that arm away. You should feel your ribs pushing into it. Okay, let's do the other arm. Elbow in, hand up your back. This one's very different for me, a bit better. Ribs down. Breathing. Okay, last breath. Okay, let's drop that arm down. Bring your head over to one side, put your hand on for a bit of weight. Reach the other arm out with your palm up. Push that thumb behind you. Keep that shoulder down and tuck your chin slightly to increase the stretch in your side of your neck. Breath here. Okay, and then head up over to the other side. Hand on just for weights, not pulling. Other arm out, palm up. Reach it away. Tuck your chin slightly. Breathe here, your breath expanding your rib cage and your belly, not lifting your shoulders. Okay, let's bring our heads up. Last stretch, arms in the air. Reach up, taking a big breath in, try and touch the ceiling, and then let that out. And then roll up. And reach up, big stretch. And then we'll let that out. Good, really well done. Very hips orientated, but judging from my puffing and panting, very core as well.